whole idea behind this wasn't mine. It was the Virginia Wine Board and the Virginia Wine Marketing and the Virginia Wineries Association. They are the ones that came up with this idea to create a case of 12 wines that they could submit to wine writers and influence makers all over the world. I think that's pretty amazing.
So the Governor's Cup competition started in 1982 when the Virginia wine industry realized that they needed some sort of competition to promote Virginia wines as Virginia wines were starting to grow. It started out, funny enough, at Vintage Virginia in the middle of a field outside surrounded by tents. In 1989, the Virginia Wineries Association decided that we needed to kind of change the competition and make something more formal, so we started bringing in judges.
To watch the way the industry has evolved and grown and changed has been unbelievably exciting and thrilling.
We had a complete revamp, which I think has been fantastic, which started in 2011 with Jay, in which we tried to make one of the most stringent competitions in the country, and I think we accomplished that.
The requirements for entering the Governor's Cup is, first of all, the wines have to be 100% Virginia fruit. That's non-negotiable. But you also have to have 50 cases of that wine that's commercially available. The wine competition starts really, for us, the Monday after Thanksgiving. And wineries have 2 weeks to get the wines to us. Each winery submits a wine. They submit 4 bottles of that wine, and we do the wine competition in 2 stages. The preliminary round is tasted by, every wine is tasted by 6 judges. The first bottle is what they taste, but we have a second bottle in case there's something corked or off. It takes us about 10 days to get through the prelim, and it takes us 2, sometimes 3 days to get through the finals. The preliminary round is done really, it's done in a way to kind of identify wines that are going to move on, wines that maybe there's something wrong with. So once the wines advance to the finals, what determines the medals, 80 through 85 is a bronze, and that's a wine that's varietally correct, varietally identifiable. 85 to 89 and a half is a silver. The golds are where they're outstanding. So to make it into the case, you've got to be, basically you have to have scored 89 and a half points and higher among 18 different judges. It's pretty hard. So if you get a gold medal in this competition, you've really done something. The final 12 that make it into the governor's case, they're the highest scoring 12 wines from the finals. Now we run the competition with a separate day for ciders. The judges that we select are professional wine tasters. Most of them have passed the WSET diploma. They're masters of wine, master sommeliers, or they're people that have written about wine for years and years.
I'm thrilled to see that my home state of Virginia, just every time I judge this, is getting better and better and more consistently good with its wines.
Some of the winemakers, they're pushing the envelope of what can be done here. Every year there's some surprises, and I think that's what I enjoy about running this competition.
Welcome to the 40th year of the Virginia Governor's Cup. I'm Justin Rose, winemaker at Rosemont Vineyards and chair of the Virginia Wineries Association Virginia Governor's Cup competition. We'd like to thank Jay Yeomans, our competition director, for his continued dedication and support in making this one of the most stringent competition in the United States. This competition recognizes the highest caliber wines being produced in Virginia. The top 12 scoring wines constitute the Governor's Cup case. This year we had a record 127 gold medal winning wines from a record 65 wineries. These wines represent the diversity of the quality of wines being produced in Virginia. We would like to congratulate each of the wineries and winemakers included in this year's case. And now here are the top 12 scoring wines representing the Virginia Governor's Cup case. Barboursville Vineyards, 2020, Vermentino Reserve.
My name is Luca Paschina. I am the general manager here at Barboursville Vineyard. We're very thrilled of this news, and thank you, Justin, that we are again selected in the Governor's Cup case with Vermentino for actually 4 consecutive years. And I take very little credit for that. Most of it actually goes to my vineyard manager, Fernando Franco, to my winemaker, Daniele Tessaro, and to the Zonin family that 45 years ago decided to establish his winery in Virginia. Being able to have Vermentino among the top 12 wines for 4 consecutive years, it's really because the wine, the variety, let's say, it fits so well into this climate. And I was very certain when I planted in 2009 that it would have fit. And I know that Vermentino, if grown in certain ways, it's a great expression of aroma, freshness, richness, and also even in lesser vintages like 18, which was not a great growing season, still the wine produced a lot of elegance. And it grows well in warm to hot climates like Virginia is. I tell people frequently that to determine the difference from a good wine to a great wine is simple. You have to focus on how long persists, how long is the sensation of pleasure. And for Vermentino, that is very, very extended. So that's the success of Vermentino.
Maggie Malik Wine Caves, 2020, Albarino.
Thank you, Justin. I'm Maggie Malik. I'm the winemaker here at Maggie Malik Wine Caves in Purcellville, Virginia. I'm really excited to get into the governor's case with a grape like Albarino. I don't know if it has been in the case before. It's sort of an up-and-coming grape in Virginia. You don't see that many, but more and more people are starting to plant it. And I think as we understand how to work with it and how to make wine out of it, we're getting better and better. People ask me all the time, how did you get into winemaking? And I always tell them, it's basically a hobby gone wild. I started in 2004 when we got our first crop of grapes in and started making small batches in my garage. It grew from there. I started with the 5-gallon glass carboys and then small stainless steel tanks. Then I got 1 barrel, and next thing you know, I had a row of barrels lined up along one side of the garage with about 3 years worth of wine in them. And there are several people in the industry that I've drawn on, over the years for their knowledge and expertise. And now I get people coming and asking me questions. So it's kind of come full circle now. And I get people who are home winemakers themselves who come in here and they find out that's how I started, and they start asking questions. What I like about Albarino is it's very dry, crisp, and citrusy. It pairs extremely well with a lot of different seafoods, and it's a refreshing summer wine. It's something that you can sip on a hot summer day, even with or without food. And it just goes down really well, and it's done really well in our climate here for us. Just is really taken with the type of soil that we have here. And there's more and more people planting it in Loudoun County. And I think it's doing well for a lot of them. There are several other wineries that have it, and theirs has done really well too.
Michael Schaaf's Wineworks, 2019 Chardonnay.
Thank you, Justin. Hi, I'm Michael Schaaf's here at Michael Schaaf's Wineworks, and I'm very honored to have our 2019 Michael Schaaf's Wild Meadow Chardonnay in the Governor's Cup case. Chardonnay can be grown anywhere in Virginia. I find that Central Virginia is a little too hot, too humid for Chardonnay. It's more of a cool climate varietal. But this vineyard, 2 hours north of us, ripens 2 weeks later than the Chardonnay here in Central Virginia. And the nighttime temperatures are cooler, the ripening is a little bit cooler, and so we're able to retain more of the natural acidity in the grape. And I think that's part of the key on why this wine matches the style that I'm looking for. The style of this wine is really kind of targeted to represent really what I do in France in terms of the natural fermentation or non-inoculated fermentation. extended long fermentation, so that transition from juice to wine is very long. We don't finish fermentation until the spring. It goes through malolactic fermentation also in the spring, and it wasn't bottled till after the harvest, following harvest. So it's about 15 months in barrel, and all that time it's on heavy lees, never racked. So it's a style that gives you good complexity, good weight, a lot of integration of the lees, and again, it has a lot of nice fruit from that slow fermentation. This wine really is the result of a lot of hard work between my vineyard team, my vineyard managers, our staff, our dedicated cellar staff, and I want to thank all of them for all the hard work they've put into producing such a great wine. And it really is here a team effort on all the wines, and so very fortunate to have such a great staff to make me look good.
Trump Winery 2015 Brut Reserve.
Thank you, Justin. My name is Jonathan Wheeler, winemaker for Trump Winery. So happy to be nominated for our 2015 Sparkling Reserve. To be nominated 2 years in a row for our Sparkling Reserve program is just a testament to the quality of wine that we're making and our dedication to making world-class sparkling wines. But what really makes it special in our sparkling wine program is that it is not only a traditional sparkling wine like our other sparkling wine portfolio, but it is our reserve wine program. So what I do, I make in the base wine lot out of some reserve lots. I add a little bit of French oak, neutral, so I'm not overpowering it with oak. And then really letting that marry in the bottle for at least 5 years before I start to release it. So it really gets some depth and complexity, some richness and mouthfeel that you wouldn't get without the additional aging. This wine itself is 100% Chardonnay. So I grow Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier on property, but really Chardonnay is the one that I find has the best ability to age. It has a nice citrus, lemon, apple, and pear. So it's still quite vibrant itself, but the additional aging really brings out that nice yeast pastry, brioche, a little bit of nuttiness, some hazelnut, and just really creates this one that has this beautiful mouthfeel as well as being lively and vibrant. It really is a wine that I'm proud of. I've really fine-tuned this program, but I have to give thanks to Kerry Willard, our general manager, and our owner, Eric Trump, for really giving me the freedom to make the best quality wines that we can from the site.
'50 West Vineyards 2019 Ashby Gap.
Thank you. My name is Jason Burris. I'm the winemaker, and we're very honored to be included with our 2019 '50 West Vineyards Ashby Gap. This wine is a blend of 75% Cabernet Franc and 25% Cabernet Sauvignon. Most of the fruit came from Shenandoah Valley. We have 2 vineyards out there, Shenandoah Springs Vineyard, which is one of the largest vineyards in the state, and Sherman Ridge Vineyard. And a portion of the Cabernet Franc came from our sister vineyard at Sunset. This wine is a collaborative effort between 3 winemakers. Corey Craighill, she was the winemaker here, and she did the fermentation operations on this wine. And when I came on board in 2020, Mike and I hired Preston Thomas. He and I blended it and finished this wine. The idea was to make an approachable wine, something that isn't very difficult to drink, something it's fun and easy to drink. We do grow a lot of Bordeaux red varieties here. We grow a lot of Cabernet Franc and make a lot of Cabernet Franc wine. So the idea was to highlight something that we grow very well here, Cabernet Franc. And because 2019 was a very good year, we decided to make wine from Cabernet Sauvignon. We do that every year, but in this year it was a red wine made for blending. And so we thought it would be a good blender with Cabernet Franc. Well, it's an honor to be included in the case. We put our best efforts in everything we do, and it's interesting to see how those efforts are received by others in the industry. We're thrilled. We didn't expect it, but we're thrilled.
Cana Vineyards 2019 Les Mirages. Cana Vineyards 2019 Unité Reserve.
Thank you so much, Justin. I'm Melanie Natoli from Virginia Vineyards and Winery of Middleburg, and we are honored to have both the 2019 Le Mariage and 2019 Unité Reserve in the case this year. The Le Mariage is the first wine from here in Virginia Vineyards. So it's our flagship blend, and it started off with the first vintage in 2011, and it was a blend of mostly Merlot and Petit Verdot. Over the vintages, there's been a couple little things added here and there. The 2019 takes a very divergent path from the rest of the vintages of this wine, though. I had the opportunity to work with 5 Bordeaux grapes that year, so I decided rather than making it a primary blend of just 2, this might be my one shot to work with all 5 of those pieces. So it is Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, Merlot, and Malbec as well. The Le Mariage is it's a softer, more fruit-forward kind of blend. It does have all those big heavy hitters in there, but the fruit really shines. It's leading with a Cabernet Sauvignon, which I thought would be the big structure piece, but it gave us some gorgeous red fruit that you'll see up front in that wine. So it definitely can age, but it's absolutely ready to drink right now. The Unité Reserve is probably the most special wine to me here. This is our estate red blend. So the vines were planted here in 2011, 2012. I was not here at Virginia Vineyards until 2015. The vines started a little bit slowly. I came on in the winter, so I was here to take over as vineyard manager the very beginning of that growing season. And that's when we took our first fruit off the vines. So every vintage that's been harvested here at the estate has been with my hands throughout the season. So it's certainly my most special wine. The Unité Reserve in the glass is very different than the Le Mariage, which is really interesting to see. And they've continued throughout the vintages to take a very different path. It's Petit Verdot dominant. The blend is Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. Those are our 3 Bordeaux grapes here on the property. The Petit Verdot is the most successful and it's the biggest planting, so it leads that blend. So there's a lot of structure, there's some savory notes. The fruit takes a back seat versus in Le Mariage, it's more up front. On this particular vintage, when we tasted, our notes were a lot more savory. We came up with things like black olive and soy sauce, but there's a note of dark plum behind it. So there's still nice fruit there and some nice structure and some spice notes from the oak as well. You know, it's an honor to have these wines in the case this year, and it's a lot of work by myself here, but I have support at home that has gotten me here, and it's really nice to work here at Virginia Vineyards. The Petty family that owns the vineyard allows me to make my wine. So they put their trust in me to put the best wine forward with their label.
Pollock Vineyards 2017 Meritage.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you. It's an honor to be in the 2022 governor's case. My name is Benoît Pinault. I am the winemaker at Pollock Vineyards. It's an honor to have good feedback. The Governor's Cup, the good grading are always welcome, but it's nice to be rewarded with the hard work. So I'll describe my style to be pretty hands-off, especially for vintage 2017, because the grapes were so perfect themselves that at this point you don't have to do much to the winemaking. Our job with Jordan, my assistant, were more into selecting the best barrel of the best block to create that product. We are fortunate at Pollock Vineyard to have a strong team with a very low turnover. Our guys in the vineyard have been here, the main guy have been here since the beginning. So this contributes to the final product, to the stability of quality to the final product. So I really will mention the whole team to be thankful for achieving that product, going from Lucio, Jack, Jordan, Jack being vineyard manager, Jordan the assistant, and Lucio the handman in the vineyard, to Nick and the tasting room. So I am really grateful for that. Being here at Pollock, I feel like I have the will to drive the winery where I see that it should be driven.
Shenandoah Vineyards 2019 Reserve.
Thank you, Justin. I'm Michael Shaps of Shenandoah Vineyards, located in Edinburgh, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley. And we are very honored to have our 2019 Shenandoah Reserve Red in the governor's case. The 2019 Reserve Red is really our way to highlight the potential of the whole vineyard at Shenandoah and the area, I should say, as well. It really is a great area for grape growing, and it's a blend of Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Petit Verdot. And this is the second time that we've been honored to have our Reserve Red in the governor's case, so we think we really have something special in our vineyards in that area that really can produce a nice style of a heavy red Bordeaux blend. So this is still quite young. The 2019 just being released after 2 years of aging. It's still got very bright acidity. A lot of the oak impact hasn't really dissipated yet, so it's still some pretty heavy oak on the palate and aromas, and all this will integrate over the next couple of years, and really look forward to this wine aging 5 to 7 more years. I'd like to thank our hardworking staff at Shenandoah Vineyards, in the vineyard and in the winery, as well as thank Emma for allowing me to continue the tradition of producing fine wines at Shenandoah Vineyards, and we're really honored to be in the case.
Stinson Vineyards 2017 Meritage.
Thank you, Justin. We're honored to have the 2017 Meritage in the case this year. I'm Rachel Roman. This is my husband, Nathan Roman.
Hello, and we are co-owners and co-winemakers here at Stinson Vineyards.
We're really excited that this is our wine in the case because the label is really special to us. We had a local artist, Kristen Yates, design the label. She's a local painter, actually lives right down the road from the winery, and she did a special label for our daughter Wells. We're about 30% new oak on this wine. That is all French barrels.
We do everything in small batches. We ferment everything separately. We age everything separately for a portion of the maturation of the wine. And right now it's drinking great, and we expect it to drink great for another 5, 10, 15 years.
Definitely want to thank my parents, Scott and Martha. This was their dream. I want to thank the team at Stinson. Our tasting room staff is amazing, as well as our vineyard team.
Yeah, we have a crew of 4 guys that works a couple different vineyards, and they're awesome. And the reason these wines are in this case is because of the crew and the dedication that those guys have in the vineyard to get the fruit, uncovered, and it was just managed perfectly. So we're grateful for that.
Wisdom Oak Winery 2019-19.
Thank you, Justin. My name is Jason LaValle. I'm the owner and winemaker here at Wisdom Oak Winery. We're honored to have our 2019 Meritage Blend 19 in the Governor's Cup case this year. The reason we called it 19 is I picked the best barrel of Cabernet Sauvignon that I had, the best barrel of Cabernet Franc, and 2 of the best barrels of Petit Verdot, and blended together. And I thought naming it 19 was an homage back to this vintage and how fantastic it was, because this was the best of the reds that we produced for that year. So the 19 for me is best enjoyed on its own. I don't even need food for this wine. I'd say it's medium to big body as far as the Petit Verdot, the Cab Franc and Cab Sauv in there, giving a lot of tannin and structure. But there's also a fruit forwardness to it. And this was aged mostly in neutral French oak, so I think the fruit really shines here and really comes through. From start to finish, it was my hands all over it. So I grew the Cabernet Sauvignon, I grew the Cabernet Franc, made the wine in the winery, and then we also hand bottle here as well. So it literally has my fingerprints all over it from start to finish, and extremely low intervention. We did nothing to this wine other than blend it together and wait. Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with me. I constantly was bringing her this wine and having her taste it and say, what does the color look like to you? Is this good enough? Is this enough tannin? How does this mouth feel to you? Should I blend in something else? And it was literally every week. I actually code-named the barrels for this wine Beast because it was so big and bold. And over time, I was having her taste it and taste it again until I knew that it was right. So she's kind of my barometer for when I know the wine's ready to go into bottle.
Rockbridge Vineyard 2018 Vidor.
Thank you, Justin. I'm Shepard Rouse, owner and winemaker at Rockbridge Vineyard, and I'm honored to be in the governor's case with our 2018 Vidor. We've made the wine since 1994. We take the grapes to a commercial deep freeze, freeze them, take them out, let them thaw partly, and then press them while they're frozen. Pretty much like what happens when you put a soda in the freezer to get it cold and leave it too long. You take it out, you taste it, all you're getting is syrup. You know, most of the water's frozen behind. And so it's a way to make a dessert style wine, which has been very successful for Rockbridge Vineyard. Flavor profile, aroma profile of Vidor, it has a lot of mandarin orange, it's got grapefruit, pineapple. I like it most with not real sweet desserts, apple tort, pear torts, stuff that's not super sweet but has nice fruit character. Being in the governor's case for the Virginia Governor's Cup this year is not just me, it's our whole team. It starts with Pedro Garcia, who works in the vineyard for me. My son, Park, who is really the cellar master and also the co-brewer of our brewery. My wife, Jane, for her moral support and selling the wine in the tasting room. And my staff that sells the wine. It's them, all of them, that really get goosebumps from being in the governor's case.
Congratulations to the wineries and winemakers included in this year's Virginia Governor's Cup case. I'd now like to introduce the Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry, Matt Lohr.
Thank you, Justin, for the kind introduction, and good evening to everyone watching tonight's Virginia Governor's Cup reveal. As Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry, it is an honor to take part in this celebration tonight. Virginia's wines, ciders, and meads are a robust and growing sector of both Virginia's largest industry, agriculture, and also Virginia's second largest industry, tourism. With over 325 producers, Virginia's farm wine industry is crafting local bottles that express the essence of our state. Within the farm wine industry, there are 50 cideries across the Commonwealth producing diverse and sophisticated products from our extraordinary orchards. Demonstrating the growth and excellence of Virginia ciders, 11 bottles were honored with the gold medal this year. For a second year, the highest scoring cider will receive the Best in Show Cider Award, determined by a panel of cider experts. It is my honor to recognize the well-deserved Albemarle Cider Works with the 2022 Best in Show Cider Award for their 2019 Virginia Hughes Crab Cider. Congratulations to Chuck Shelton and the entire team at Albemarle Cider Works.
Thank you, Secretary Lohr. I'm Chuck Shelton. I am the cider maker here at Albemarle Cider Works. We appreciate this award for our Virginia Hughes Crab 2019. Hughes Crab in Virginia, where it originated, was extensively planted across the Commonwealth. And we know Washington had it, we know Jefferson had it here, and they produced a lot of cider because that's was part of their food chain, if you will. So it got spread around, and it went further out of state too. But the Hughes crab has persisted as a pollinator, and now is coming back to its rightful place as a cider fruit. The Virginia Hughes crab has several prime factors that go into making a great wine or cider. It has tannin. It has a really nice acid, it's high acid, and it has a nice sugar in it to give you the alcohol. And Those three things consistently produce high quality cider. So I'd like to thank the people that helped me do this, my family, our customers, and our staff, without whom I could not do this, not on any scale. To all those people, I appreciate it. You deserve recognition as well as I do. And I'd like to especially remember Tom Burford. He helped with the selection of our orchard originally, and our lives intertwined for years until he passed away. And he has contacts way beyond Virginia, and we've developed as well. So thanks to people around the country who might see this, who actually support us too.
At this time, it is my honor to introduce the 74th Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, His Excellency, Governor Glenn Youngkin.
Thank you, Secretary Lohr, and thank you for all you are doing to promote our agriculture and forestry in the Commonwealth of Virginia. What a thrill it is to be here for the 40th anniversary of the Virginia Governor's Cup competition and to unveil the wine that will take home the coveted Governor's Cup. Serving as governor, I fully recognize the contribution the Virginia wine industry plays in providing jobs and economic development in the Commonwealth, especially in Virginia's rural areas. Not to mention the important role this industry plays in conserving Virginia's farmland. This year's competition was record-setting as a testament to the world-class wines being grown right here across Virginia. These wines emphasize the expertise required of our winemakers and farmers to navigate diverse soils and varied growing conditions in order to produce the highest quality wines. Congratulations to each of the wineries who earned a medal in this year's competition, and also a special congratulations to those who earned a spot in the Governor's Cup case. I am so proud to support this flourishing industry of the Commonwealth, and will continue to promote Virginia wines and the agricultural community that is crafting them. That is why Suzanne and I have committed to exclusively serving Virginia wines at the Governor's Mansion over the next 4 years. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The winner of the 2022 Governor's Cup is Cana Vineyards and Winery of Middleburg for their 2019 Unité Reserve. Congratulations to winemaker Melanie Natoli. As the first woman winemaker to win the Governor's Cup, Melanie is an example of the pioneering and experimental spirit driving the Virginia wine industry to new heights. Once again, congratulations to Cana Vineyards and Winery of Middleburg and all of the award recipients.
Thank you, Governor. It's an absolute honor to take this cup home, not only for myself, but for the amazing women winemakers we have across the state, and for Cana Vineyards and Loudoun County. The Unité Reserve is a very important wine to me, so it's an honor to win the cup, of course, but for that wine means even more to me. This is our estate wine, so it's a wine that is mine and in my hands from when the first buds open in the vineyard, all the way through the fruit coming into the cellar, the wine being fermented, barrel aging, blending, hitting the bottle. There isn't a piece of this wine that I don't know and doesn't know me, so it's exceptionally special to have this one win the cup this year. My journey as a winemaker started here in Loudoun County. I'm actually 100% Loudoun County winemaker. I started working as an intern in 2009. I split my time 3 days a week in my first career in healthcare so I could pay the bills, and 3 days a week I would intern in the cellars and the vineyards. And after 2 years, I was finally able to take that second step out of my first career and be a full-time winemaker here in the county. And I started as an assistant winemaker at Fabioli Cellars in 2011. And I'm really honored and thankful to be here at Cana Vineyards. I've been here since 2015. I've actually worked for 2 different ownership pairs here at Cana, and I'm so grateful for them trusting me to make their wine. I'm allowed to use my own creativity and create the wine that I want to make with their label on it. I'm really honored to be the first woman that's won the cup. I am not the first woman that's making great wine here in the state, so a lot of thanks goes to all of the other winemakers, female winemakers here in the state that have been here before me and right next to me now, and I'm glad that this one's for us.